And today is, and wait, what's it? Thanksgiving in the United States. Markets are closed. I'm kind of glad that markets are closed today, even though for the crypto people here, there's no time to rest. Ain't no rest for the wicked here. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about what we think the AI story will continue to be. We're going to tell you what happened in this week in markets, which this was a very calm week, and we have to see what happens on Friday, which is like half day, but also the end of the month. It'll be very interesting to see how the market behaves and how much sort of like how we plan to go risk on or risk off into the year end. We'll tell you our thoughts, we'll give you our opinions. Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. We're more than happy to have this conversation with you guys and try to figure out what will happen for the rest of the year. But the story is simple. Markets found a bottom, it seems, at least for now. We broke through some resistances. Now the question is are we at support or are we at a very strong resistance? Will the market continue to go lower? S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are higher than last week. Bitcoin is higher than last week, and pretty much everything is higher than last week. But there is some scary things in the market. The volume was very low. Again, it was expected as Japan was off, I think Monday, Mimi said.
Yeah.
And the rest of the market sort of like, well, America is off. They're taking finally a little holiday, one of the couple of days that they get free a year. And tomorrow is Black Friday. So that's also something I wanted to talk about, just like the deals that I've been seeing for market data and stuff, the financial version of Black Friday. So I have a couple of things. If you have seen anything, let me know. But welcome, everybody. Dimitris, Timothy, and Mimi are here with me. Four popular investors, including myself. Make sure to check out our portfolios down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. But yeah, I mean, the market is calm, right? Like it feels very, very calm. Finally, we are sort of finding a footing. It's not as ugly. We're not sort of like slowly dripping into year end. We have come down quite substantially, so this rally is welcome. But yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Dimitris, you were talking about just before we started the episode about the Fed and how we're expecting that rate cut. So there seems to be some sort of relief from the markets because at least we're continuing that cutting cycle, right?
So the labor market obviously is putting more pressure to the Fed to do the final rate cut for the year, and JP Morgan just changed their forecast, and they're expecting a 25 basis points in December. And if they say it, is most likely happening. So that would add some fuel into the fear that. And by the way, the fear is like I think the market has split into two: the equities market and the crypto market. And if you are an equities investor, you're not realizing the fear that exists in the crypto market as a crypto investor. They are not even comparable, the two of them. So from my perspective, because I'm equities heavy, the last couple of weeks, like pullback, whatever you want to call it, it wasn't a correction, it was a pullback. Some people saw that as fear, but if you see the larger picture, like 6 straight months of gains, and then you get like 2 weeks of a pullback, and you're going to call that like fear? No, this is just how markets behave. Now in the crypto market, it's a completely different story. It's like the crypto market just erased all the gains for the year in 2 weeks, like 3 weeks, whatever that is. And you have to have the stomach if you want to be a crypto investor. Most people don't realize that. And then they find out in weeks like the last couple of weeks we had. But that said, I think, and this is my estimate, that we're going to have a very strong December. And from there, what happens in 2026 is a different story. I have my views. But the AI story continues. Okay, the winners looks like that are changing. Who is leading? Which is a nice surprise, that because we can root for someone else, and it's not just Nvidia's face on the AI story, but we have Google as well, and then others will appear. So the market will brought in a way just away from just Nvidia. But yes, I expect a strong December. I expect a crypto rebound. I don't know if we're going to reach to all-time highs or the 200,000 by the end of January that Tom Lee has been saying. But I expect a strong December across the crypto market and the equities market.
Nice. Okay, Timothy, what are you looking at right now? What are you paying attention to?
So my view on stocks is actually pretty bullish because we did had that little fake out when the AI bubble came into the picture again, which obviously, in my opinion, it isn't a bubble yet. We still see a lot of companies earning a lot more thanks to AI and growing their earnings. So it's not to be compared with what happened in the tech bubble area. So stocks for me, overall stocks for me, they can continue higher near the end of this year, even Q1. My assumption is for crypto is that crypto is a bit lagging behind. There is less attention going to crypto just because there's so much involvement with AI, and traders that want to make money, they want to go where the momentum sits, and right now it's in the AI stocks. If you've been trading altcoins for the last couple of months, if you're a good trader like Mimi, you can make some decent gains with some nice calls she made. I've seen it in the WhatsApp group. But yeah, it's hard work. You have to be glued on the screen almost 24/7. Correct me if I'm wrong. While if you're just buying AI stocks, you can just buy and simply hold. That's how it has been for the last 2 years. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but
Or is it
if
going to
you
continue?
if you're a trader, that has been the case to take some decent profits out of the AI stocks. Yeah, so for my view on crypto, I know it's not fun to hear, but I'm here to tell you what my strategy is, and my strategy is to de-risk on crypto. And I have de-risked a lot of Bitcoin and altcoins. Right now, I'm sitting at around 50% allocation compared to where it was during the confirmed bull market. After Bitcoin had some structural damage, the 100K level, the 50-week moving average, and went all the way down to 80K, I think there's not gonna be a V-shaped recovery. It's rarely that we see in such cases a V-shaped recovery. So we stabilize, we make a higher low. I don't think we will take out the 80K level very soon, but my probabilities are shifted that we are entering a more sideways to bear market phase. So in the future, 2026, I am cautiously predicting that Bitcoin will go lower than 80K. So I don't think Bitcoin will go to 126K. In case that Bitcoin breaks 107.5K, I might change my mind, because that's a decent level where a lot of traders are gonna try to sell into resistance. So that's the level I'm watching to turn bullish again. Now you can say, "Wow, that's like so wide
Yo,
from here."
what's the level? What's the level? I zoomed out for a bit. What's the level?
107.5K.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, go
And
ahead.
right now we're sitting at 90, so that's like 17K difference. And I'm okay with missing a big portion of the gains, just because I don't want to risk Bitcoin collapsing to the downside. I do take some small trades. So I took a long trade on Ethereum and on Bitcoin, but just playing a bounce and selling into resistance, because yeah, I still feel like everyone is waiting for a bounce to sell, and that the bounce that we're watching for will be lower than expected. So that's how I feel how everyone is trading Bitcoin right now. So yeah, my stance on Bitcoin is a bit bearish, but that can change depending on how fast it can reclaim that 107.5k level.
Nice. So the thing is, so you become bullish if it breaks 117, 107. Sorry, 107.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you flip the script. I'm actually I want to hear Mimi's thoughts. I want to hear Mimi's thoughts here too, because I want to sort of like see.
I think Nesta just wrote down 107.5k. Sell everything.
No.
Sell everything because Timothy said so. It's really interesting, right? Because I outlined both bear and bull case beginning of the week in my weekly analysis, and so I see both sides, and I see what Timothy's talking about, and I do agree with him somewhat. But obviously, with TAs, I understand. I see it too. I see that we have, from a TA's perspective, technical analysis perspective, we have entered a bear market. However, I'm not entirely convinced, because for me, okay, I can see that the structure has been broken. There is still that 75k there. There's that 75k level that is just like potentially the nail in the coffin, right? My long-term view, okay, so I outlined both bear and bull. Bear, yes, TAs are there, indicators are there, structure's broken, 50-week close, second 50-week close, move average close. I get that, but you have to take into consideration the macro psychology. The ISM, the business cycle, has been in contraction, and retail hasn't been here. Euphoria hasn't been here, even though we have had tops before without euphoria. And that's been, other analysts have pointed that out in 2019, that's happened. I look, in terms of de-risking, I know everyone's waiting for that bounce. There's also that flip side as well. And I said this last time, and I'm not saying hold your bags because of this theory. But what if, what if everybody is right this time? It's always like when the masses are right, they're not. But what if they all are right this time and everybody gets out at the 107 or 110, whatever it is? What if everybody gets out and then it just rallies, right? So what happens then? And I know a lot of people have asked me that as well. Like, what if the relief bounce comes? What are you going to do if it keeps going? And my answer for that is, like, I'm going to be positioned for both scenarios. I'm going to de-risk as well, but I'm going to position myself so that I can capitalize on the upside. I'm going to definitely, and I know that I'll be speaking to Timothy and Toby and other people in crypto, especially technical analysis, to look for weakness when we see that bounce. Potentially, even if there's weakness, as we head towards that bounce, maybe it won't go that high, as Timothy said. But we will be watching the charts, and then we will be updating everyone. But I do take into consideration QT is ending. We have FOMC, we have rate cut, we have ETFs coming in, we have so many positive catalysts coming that I just, mid to long term, I'm still bullish. And I do see a greener end to the year, as well, as Dimitri had pointed out. So I'm trying to integrate both, understand the TA side, understand the macro side as well, and then just put them together and just pivot as we go. It's very easy to pivot from bearish to bullish. And I guess that's also why people say, why do you keep changing your mind? Well, we do, because we can only react with the data that comes out. Same goes with job data, same goes with, rate cuts, no rate cuts. We can only react that way. So I understand that's why we need to pivot. And for me, I'm short-term bearish, mid to long-term bullish. That's where I see. What I don't like at the moment is that with the recovery of Bitcoin, there's no volume, but hey, we've been lacking volume for a while. So
yeah, it's been interesting. I don't know, like sort of like there was something that happened this week. There was a leak by the U.S. government trying to sort of name drop who was going to be the next Fed chair, like the next Fed president, and Kevin Hassett came in as the winner in this race. It seems. I mean, obviously many things can happen from here until that date, right? Until they finally get announced, right? But this is interesting because it's like Trump's trying to figure out a way to kind of like decredit the Jerome Powell sort of regime that he has right now, and it will be interesting to see how this pans out, because the thing is just like, okay, now we understand that potentially we're getting a cut in December, we're getting a cut maybe in January. Do we continue the cutting cycle? It depends on the data. It depends on what we're getting. The Fed beige book came out yesterday, and it was actually lower than expected. Like there was a weakness in the labor market as well in November. So we are starting to see sort of like the deterioration in the markets. And the problem is you know, I keep saying this every time, is the idea that whenever you peak in unemployment is the end of the recession. So if we're really heading into this recession that everybody's talking about, right, whenever we start seeing that spike in unemployment is when people are going to start freaking out, right? So the big question here is like, do we see that, right? And like, I don't right now, right? Like I see a very strong labor market, and we see sort of like the dynamic of the American labor market, at least. Obviously, we can see the rest of the world taking a hit. The UK is taking a hit. We just had a tech spike in yesterday. So that's also going to have some negative impacts. But I also see the positive impacts from the United States government, right? We still have the big, beautiful bill. So there's going to be a lot of money coming in. If we see sort of interest rates starting to come down, we're going to see more money being spent, and potentially earnings and revenue continue to go up. M2 is still high, right? Like, and then we have sort of, again, like the Fed is changing policy, right? A lot of people pay attention to the interest rate, but the reality is that the balance sheet is also important. It's another tool that the Fed has, and it's not money sucking anymore, right? It's steady, and we're planning to go to longer. Like I think the Fed said that they want to focus on the long term debt of the American debt. So that's going to tell you that there's just going to be like long-term loans that could potentially start benefiting, and we could see that sort of like the cost of money start coming down drastically. We are seeing the big companies starting to position themselves to borrow money as the interest rates do come down. So this could be very interesting. I mean, we could just be going into another printing cycle, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of bullish. I mean, like even for Bitcoin, right? Like obviously, like I understand the levels. I understand the market sentiment. There's a lot here, but I mean, like Bitcoin at 80K seems like a potential gift from the market. There has been so many gifts, and there's just been some sort of like diversification out of so many assets, and like moving into, like, for example, Mara sitting at 10, right? $4 billion company that has increased the amount of Bitcoin that they hold. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, the balance sheet should improve. I mean, this, like all of these different opportunities, Nvidia sitting at 170. Like if it drops even lower, I do think still a gift. Like as long as there's no fraud, the numbers, if these are the real numbers and China comes back into the picture, even though we're seeing some tensions there, if China comes back into the picture, we could see some added increase sort of like euphoria there. So it's like, I think this market is creating opportunities just because we are sort of trying to find value and trying to like, okay, maybe this company has gone too hot. For example, like Google yesterday went down a little bit from all-time highs, which is totally expected. It's just market breadth, right? And like the breadth feels healthy, right? The fact was that 6 months of a rally is scary, right? But obviously we're coming into this new technology that's coming in. The market's trying to price it in. We're trying to understand what the value of everything is. But I think this is healthy. The fact that we are coming back down and we're getting back to reality, to normal levels, to normal valuations. Yeah, there's going to be crazy winners like Palantir, but there's also going to be corrections in those names, right? You're going to see crazy moves in stocks that you didn't think they could rally like that. Like, for example, like the nuclear stocks that went all to all-time highs. Yeah, but they still don't produce any revenue, right? So it's like you give me a company that doesn't have any revenue and it's a hopium possibility, because I still don't know how much money they can really make based on all of the policy, regulation, and human sort of like bureaucracy, in compared to, like, for example, a company like First Solar, First Solar has been benefiting from the energy build out, right? So it's like, and it's going to continue to build. So, right, this company took a hit because of just political rhetoric. We're not seeing that translate into sales and revenue. We saw it for a little while, but we're coming back. So there is value in this market, and that's what I like about this. Is like, and I think like even in altcoins, we're gonna see potential projects. Like I don't think everything wins, right? Like we're not in a, you know what? Let the bulls out. But we are right now in a place where opportunities can be like found, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, like First Solar hit 120 during the Trump start, and like how policy was changing. The renewable credits, how that was changing, right? It was like, oh, nobody's going to buy more renewables because Trump said it was not okay, even though his focus was on wind more than solar. He still shits on solar, but not as much because we still need a solar industry in America. So First Solar is it's like industrial manufacturing for for commercial manufacturing, and this has been one of the big winners. It's like, so there are opportunities here that don't have to, like, this is now related to AI just because of the energy infrastructure that we're going to need in order to support that, right? It's like we are seeing sort of like that decoupling from just like, oh, we're going into chips. Now we're seeing that go into, oh, we're going into the AI companies, right? Okay, who are the AI companies? Oh, Google is now an AI company. So we're seeing that rip all the way up. So we're seeing that sort of like breakdown to the rest of the stack. And the question is who are the big winners in this, right? Who are the big winners? And like, there is opportunity to find extreme value in this market right now, right? Like the fact that we're coming down and we're at low levels it's an opportunity to say, okay, maybe I have some winners. What are those winners? Do I think that they're going to continue to win? If the answer is yes, that's why I'm still holding a massive position in NVIDIA. But funny enough, this week, my Google position surpassed my NVIDIA position because NVIDIA came down and Google came up.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that happen, and it's like, and there's going to be opportunity in so many different places. And I just think right now, like, I'm actually extremely bullish because of the fact that there's so many bullish things starting to come back into the economy. We're seeing the Fed starting to pump. We are seeing the American government wanting to spend. We see the hyperscalers not hoard cash, but actually spend it, So do I think that we're going to continue to grow? I mean, these companies still have to compete. Like the oligopoly system that we have today has to be maintained. And these companies will continue to win in their respective fields. I don't see that happening, whether it's because they're right now in a CapEx boom. Yeah, we want to invest in whatever is next, right? Like companies do that. They grab capital and they invest it. Continue to invest it. Even if it's wrong, I still want to see what the potentials are there. And then the build out in AI, which I've shared a little bit with Mimi, but I'm like, you guys know this, is like I'm starting to see the developments in the other sectors more than just the LLM side, right? So it's like, do I think Google is going to win? Yeah. Do I think NVIDIA is going to win? Yeah. Like, right. It's like we are going into this CapEx cycle. So for me, like, I don't know, I'm extremely bullish, even for Bitcoin, because I continue to think that the Americans will continue to print their way into losing the first spot of currency value. And it's easy. Right, every single government will tell you that they'll try to reduce that deficit, but they won't. They freaking won't, because it's not politically correct. I'm gonna say it like that. It's not. You're gonna lose the elections if you don't provide money for people. All right, Timothy, thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanna continue on just to give you a counter argument about what you're all saying. It sounds very bullish. But it's all very long term, right? I mean, you cannot predict what's going to happen within the next few months, not with stocks, not with crypto. Okay, we are long 100% stocks, we are long crypto, but if shit hits the fan, I mean, we could have a correction or a bigger drawdown. So always I would say always keep some cash on the side. I'm currently 7 to 10% cash in case we get a dip. I did buy some Meta and I did buy some Palo Alto last time we had a correction in stocks, and I did buy Bitcoin at 89K, but we cannot predict how it's gonna develop, especially in price, knowing that yes, Americans are gonna probably buy more Bitcoin, probably gonna buy more stocks. But yeah, keep that in mind.
For sure. Like, and the thing is like, don't like, this is a market where you can't be afraid to take profits, right? Like cash sometimes is worth a lot. Like in the last 2 weeks, in relation to the S&P 500, cash appreciated by 6%. So there was an opportunity right there, right? And obviously, like if you see, like for example, like I hedged my position in Google. Why did I hedge my position in Google? Because I don't believe in the company? No, because I've seen the company rally, and I'm wondering how many more buyers are out there. It's that simple, right? Like it's like I said this joke in the Etoro chat, but it was like, why is the market going up or why is the market going down? It's just because there's more buyers or more sellers. It is that simple. For one reason or another, there's just more buyers today than there were yesterday, and that's it. So it's like, at the end of the day, like I don't know. For me, like I see right now a lot of like positive momentum in the stock market. I think a lot of buyers will come in, but again, I was selling into this rally. I was taking positions. I was like making sure that if I saw an opportunity to get, hey, I don't have to get it right. I just have to get it somewhat correct. You know, it's like I don't have to get it perfect. I don't have to sell it at the top, buy at the bottom, because I know exactly what the valuation and every person in the market is thinking. But you know, so for me right now is see those positions. If you see a company that you were thinking was going to like maybe 10% increase in a year, and it goes like 200% in a year because there's a lot of momentum, hey, a little bit of money in the pocket doesn't hurt. And if it comes down, just rebuy it back. And if it continues to go up and the story changes and you figure it out too late, continue to buy later. You know, it's like, that's the beauty. You can always buy more. So I know it's hard. The hard thing is like knowing when to get back in, right? Like that, at least for me, it's knowing when to get back in. So it's like, that's why I like to stay most of my positions in, but I do. Like, I think right now I'm low cash because I've been buying into this. And it's like, I plan to sell as soon as we start seeing the market hit all-time highs, which in the next couple of months, I think we could get back up there, right? It's Thanksgiving today. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you know how much money I made in NVIDIA? Oh my God. You know how much money I made on Google in the last 3 months? Oh my God. Bitcoin right now, it is the time. You know? So it's like, it's going to be a lot like this human, well, this is Mimi's sort of field, but this human psychology aspect of it, it's just like people are going to be talking about this. It's been a great year for the last couple of years in the stock market.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days. You know, it's like, I don't know, like for me, it's like I increased my Bitcoin position a little bit, but obviously like for me, it's small. Like I don't invest like you guys in crypto, right? So like I think my position sizes would be small compared to you guys, but I do think sort of like risk on, right? Like I'm starting to see those risk on forces starting to come in. Could I be wrong? 100%. I've been wrong in the past and I'll be wrong again. So yeah. Holy, because like, for example, like what are like, go, Timothy.
Mimi wanted to say something.
I want to say something, but I don't want to waffle on, and I want to let Dimitri talk as well, because if I start talking about AI and the rabbit hole that I've been going down, it's just going to go on forever. But what are your thoughts right now, Dimitri?
So I took some profits on Google the other day, and I posted, and some guy on Etoro said that we are under extreme fear, which is like a different reality that what I'm seeing, like like a 5% down for the S&P after 6 straight green. I mean, this is not fear for me, okay?
Not at all.
Not at all. It's just like a moment of uncertainty on a Tuesday or whatever day it was. But the market, what gives me some comfort in the market right now is that the market is priced in 3 different ways. Is the speculative, very expensive tech, the Palantirs, the Teslas, you know, that group, which I'm not shitting on them, but they're expensive. By any metric you can try to sell it to someone, it's expensive. Then is the less expensive, but we can tolerate it a little bit, you know, the traditional tech, the Mac 7, which they're expensive, but they beat the profit estimate quarter after quarter. So the valuations are justified And then there's part of the market, a large part of the market, that is fairly valued. Okay, and they are the boring part of the market, the stables, the energy, the healthcare. And in my opinion, if you're going to run a portfolio, it can't just be all tech, or it can't just be all defense. It has to be a balance, because you don't want to get killed in a bear market, and you want to outperform in a bull market. So you have to find the balance and be okay with sacrificing the upside or the downside. So in my view, in the next 5-6 weeks until the end of the year, which I expect, assuming the rate cut happens, because the rate cut is going to be priced in ahead of time. It's not going to happen on the day. Like 3-4 days, they're going to leak it to the market. Like, some dude is going to come out and say, yes, I expect a rate cut. And then that's the leakage from the Fed, letting the market know that we're getting a rate cut. Then they're going to price it right there. Then everything rallies. And then that's how I'm going to look to get out of some of the positions that I got in April with 60, 70, 80% profit across the board in tech. And then reallocate them into something that is fairly valued, low beta, just in case something goes wrong in 2026. And the risk that I'm seeing and I'm afraid of is the labor market, because we don't get the numbers in real time. We get the numbers after, right? And it's not just, and you correctly pointed, Nestor, that once the unemployment peaks, that's when the recession ends. But the psychology in the consumer, they want to play defense. They're not going to spend. They want to make sure that I'm not losing my job because my neighbor just lost his job. So let me not go on that fancy cruise for a week. Let me go to Holiday Inn in Virginia or whatever it is, right? So the labor market, it comes down to the labor market. The US economy is a consumer economy. The consumer has a job. As long as they have a job, then they're going to spend. It's simple as that. It's a feel-good economy. So I'm watching very closely of the unemployment rate. I really don't want people to lose their jobs for the sake of making money. I mean, let's just be clear, okay? I'm not going to root for people to lose their jobs, but if they do, I want to have a plan in place for me and my co-bears, so we're not going to get killed. That's what it comes down to. In the meantime, I'm going to have some cash and look if NVIDIA gives me a gift in the 140, 150, because I'm sitting on it on a 400% profit. So for me, it's different than from someone that doesn't have NVIDIA and wants to get into it. Me, I'm like up 400%, so I'm not going to rush into it just for the 10% like discount.
Yeah. Here, I wanted to show something to add a little bit of context also to what you're saying,
Yes.
Dimitri. Since the start of November, this is the RSP, which is the equal weight S&P 500. I was talking to you about it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And the blue line is the S&P 500, right? So it's like if we see just like, obviously like the RSP usually lags behind, just right? Because like the S&P is like 40% tech, 40, the max 7, pretty much. Here, what we see is that in this month at least, we've seen like the S&P 500 is still down from the start of the month, but we're actually seeing strength in the RSP. So we're seeing that sort of like move from the big winners to those laggers, right? Which were those laggers? We've talked about them. The healthcare. We've seen sort of like energy. We've seen consumer staples, all of these different things, right? The question would be like, if this continues to be, I like the RSP. I've always paid attention, but obviously, like if you start looking at the longer time frame, S&P 500 just destroys the RSP, the equal weight, right? Because like the winners are the winners, right? But interestingly enough, it's like the fact that the RSP is starting to sort of show this momentum could tell you that the overall market could now start finding a footing, because it's been, I think, AI spending accounts for the majority of GDP growth that we've seen this year, right? The question is if we see that downturn, and this was something that was specified by the Fed, if we see that downturn in the AI CapEx spending, what happens to the rest of the market? And the Fed is very much paying attention to that. Also a reason why we saw this sort of, the Fed sort of coming.
And by the way, that chart that you're showing right now, if you exclude NVIDIA, It doesn't look like that.
Correct. Like take away the Max 7 and see how it looks.
No, the Max 7, because some of them have not performed well. Like
Yeah.
you can let Amazon in there, you can let Google, because Google had a good year, but it didn't have a good 3 years. Now it's taking back. But if you exclude Nvidia from that group, okay, it looks the S&P outperforms, but it's not this much.
But
So,
doesn't Nvidia make up 8% or something with the S&P?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the majority. Yeah, no, it's a big part. It's a big part of the results of the majority of the gains.
So basically, when it comes down to, let me say this, and I'm going to let me get into the AI. If you can be a perfect investor, like value and all the charts and the ratios and fancy, but if you did not invest in Nvidia in the last 3 years, you probably underperform.
Yeah.
Okay, like ridiculously. Like
Yeah.
you have to get one thing right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a couple of positions that make the rest of the majority of the performance. So yeah, no, it's the truth. It's very, very true. Nice. Okay, so sorry, Mimi, go.
Go.
Because I was gonna say, right? Anything else you guys want to add in terms of market talk?
Okay, I'll say really, really quickly. Sorry, no, did Dimitri wanted to say something?
No, yes, I want to get into I saw you open a position in Tao.
Yes.
Yes, and I don't know what that is, and I would like to give me like.
You don't know who that is? Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
How? Well, okay. Let me start with AI, and then I'll get into Tao, because I'll try to make it really brief, because Nessa sent me down a real AI rabbit hole the last few days, and all I've been doing is just absorbing AI information. Hence why, when we did have
sorry, Mimi, but I have to go. It's time for me to go.
Sorry,
Really?
Timothy. My bad.
You can put me in the background.
Yes, I will.
Oh, wow,
I will do that.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh wait, oh no, that's okay. I wanted to ask Timothy. It's okay. Go.
Yeah. No. So, in a nutshell, what I'm just trying to gain clarity over AI, because people, just like with crypto, people had this misconception that everything is crypto. So therefore, it's the one thing. And I think it's the same thing with AI. Everyone thinks everything is AI. Google's AI, Meta's AI, everything's AI. Therefore, who are going to come up on top, and where do I invest, and do I just pick one AI company? And no. And today I just thought, okay, to really simplify it, you think of AI as the body, the brain, the behavior. 3 categories, okay? So the body is the infrastructure, as we've already spoken about, the chips, the data centers, the energy, anything that helps power AI. Then you have the brains. The brains is the what we call, was it like LLM, like large language models? So the models, okay, the Chat GPT, the Gemini, all of the programming, they create the workflows, they interpret information, create content, and then you have the behavior, and the behavior is what goes straight to the consumers, the impact on the users, and Meta does that really well, delivering products. So that's how I would categorize AI, and then I would look at which companies fit under each category, or they do actually overlap. So there are some like Amazon or maybe Meta or Google that try to do all 3, but some are stronger than others in certain areas. So I think that would be my suggestion in terms of like trying to understand the AI boom and where everything is heading, and where to, because in terms of who is going to win, I think that they will all succeed to some extent in their own lane. The ones that won't is probably the startups, right? The startups in this space right now most of them will just fail. But the big tech, as I said, they will always innovate. They've got the capital behind them. They've got the vision as well, and they've got the manpower pretty much. So that's kind of like my summary of my thoughts on AI. But there's just so much to unpack there, and maybe it might be another episode. But the videos I've watched, the progress that AI has made, it's not just, I think everyone just thinks it's content creation, creating avatars, rewriting your posts, whatever it is, but it's already solving science. It's helping scientists solve problems already with, there's AlphaFold, which is there's a documentary about, finding out, discovering proteins, and with the help of AI, we've now been able to find out 200 million proteins, which changes the world. It has the potential to cure disease, fix climate issues, and that has been now opened up to the whole entire world for free. So all scientists have now access to that. And so I just feel like after watching all of those documentaries, it's just been revolutionary. And the speed at which, for example, agents are able to learn on their own. So you're like, here's a game of chess, try to beat this level. And then it's just been moving so fast that I just don't see it as, of course, as the same as the .com bubble, because, and even the crypto bubble, it's going to move a lot faster. Like, it took a long time for people to accept and to legitimize crypto. But I think this time around, people are actually going to see it's going to change the world and society, and it's going to have real use cases aside from just creating an avatar that looks like you and can speak like you. Yeah. Right. So that's my AI kind of path so far, my story. Now Tao, I got really excited with Tao because I've been watching Tao for a while. It is still in that speculative space. It's a cryptocurrency. Tao, essentially, very, very simply put, Tao is Bitcoin is decentralized money. Tao is, or BitTensor is actually what it's called, and Tao is the token that powers the ecosystem. So BitTensor, or Tao, is decentralized AI. So it allows anyone in the entire world to be able to plug into the system, and people are incentivized. Agents are incentivized, or people are incentivized by providing the best, providing intelligence. So the more intelligent your agent is, the more value it provides to the ecosystem, and therefore it then gains Tao tokens. Same with Bitcoin mining. It's doing the exact same thing. And it also has 20 million tokens only, just like Bitcoin. So I'm really excited about BitTensor. We have to see how it progresses, but it is pretty much Bitcoin, but for AI. So Bitcoin is for, to solve the fiat problems, and Tao is BitTensor is to solve AI. It's decentralized AI. And so you have this concept of everyone has this common goal, this common incentive, which is to accumulate Tao, right? And the goal is to create the most intelligent agents. So you and the way AI is progressing right at this very moment, it's just going to keep stacking and stacking and stacking. You're just going to have this like super intelligence in general. And so that got me really excited. And I think that's more long-term, a little bit more long-term than what people think.
Is
So
it
the mining
newly listed on Etoro?
It's on Etoro for a while. It's called Tao.
Okay.
Yeah, TAO. It's still in that.
I saw when you shared your trade, but I wasn't aware that it was listed on Etoro for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait, the mining is used as like to keep the network, or to like run the. I need to dig deeper on this. I'm like on the website right now.
Yeah.
So if you mine it, you're pretty much giving your computing power towards the AI agent.
It's not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same as Bitcoin, but it's essentially like I just newly got into it as well, like really started researching. But it essentially works in a similar way as Bitcoin does, where people provide computing power to mine Bitcoin, and it powers the network. This one actually is more like you are incentivized by providing intelligence. It's powered by.
Or do you have to design the agents? Okay,
Well,
I'm intrigued by this. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll get into it more. I'll write about it. I'll actually get into it more specifically in terms of like
we'll do a future
how it
video.
actually works.
I'm down.
Huh?
We'll do a future video on this for sure.
He got interested now. He got interested, like AI and
Interesting. I have to show you a video. It's like when I watched it, and I know Toby sent me the video as well a long time ago. I watched it, and I've known of Tao, and I know of the community is really strong. There you have the psychological side, but the fundamentals of it, it's essentially Bitcoin, but it's focused on intelligence. It's focused on AI. And to decentralize AI, you don't have somebody controlling AI, which is like brilliant. You know, you get everyone, the whole entire world, to create AI, and you just have all these like highly intelligent, valuable agents.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, for the spirit of Thanksgiving, I don't know if you guys want to add anything else, but for the spirit of Thanksgiving, right? So, because that's what I wanted to ask Timothy. I was going to say, well, what are you thankful for? Okay, Dimitris, what are you thankful for this year?
You know what? Let me go first.
I don't want to. No, you go.
I'm not gonna steal her idea.
No, mine wasn't going. I was joking about. I'm not joking about it, but I wasn't going to really say that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thankful that we got together this year in Cyprus, like for the summit, and all this partnership that we're having, like with Market Bus and talking daily on group chats, and we share information between us. And I think this interaction between us makes us better investors. So yeah, I'm grateful to that. I'm grateful that we grow as humans and as investors. And I'm certain that next year is going to be even better. So we have better things to looking forward to into the next year.
Yeah.
Mimi.
I do agree with that though. I'm not the trader investor I am if it wasn't for you guys and the whole community. But I have to say, and maybe this is the contrarian in me, but I'm grateful for how awful crypto has been this year. Even though I wish it hadn't been, but I am really grateful because it's really tested me as well. You know, like for somebody, a lot of people in my field that thought we knew exactly how crypto was going to unfold. We're just throwing curveballs here and there, and I think that when alt season actually arrives, when it does arrive, and it will, and crypto starts, this bull cycle continues, I'm going to sit back and go, wow, I'm proud. I'm proud that I was able to not just diamond hand myself through this, but also the community as well, and to be able to psychologically, you know, to battle myself, like that psychological side, and yeah, it's been a huge challenge and a huge test, and it only makes you better, right? These times only make you better, and it's probably been the toughest year for me in crypto. And I would just say that I am actually thankful for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I'm thankful for like many things. You know what I mean? Like obviously, like personal life is kind of like I'm thankful for the position that I'm in. You know, it's being sort of like even though there's been sort of tough times this year, we've grown a lot stronger. The community that we're starting to build together, like you know, it's like it's taking a little bit of work, a little bit. Like I think we just hit like a 1 year since the creation of the channel too. So like I'm super happy that we're like you know we're doing this and we're actually finding some entertainment, some interesting, you know, some not entertainment, but also like a little bit of like knowledge. Like we're learning from each other. We're becoming better.
The last comment.
Yeah. I'll put it. Yeah. By the way, if you have any things you're thankful for this year, you know, because like there's a lot of shit happening in the world right now, and we all understand. But it's like at least like like taking a little bit and just understanding that there are some good things that are happening. You know, it's like it's the Ted Lasso. At least we're not alone. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I like. I really enjoy about the community here. It's just you know, Etoro sort of started it. You know, join it. You know, you never think that opening up an account in some place will just get you there. But yeah, I mean, like the community, like the fact that we're like talking to each other, keeping, you know, even in the tough times, like we can rely on each other and sort of like be there, you know. And I know there's tough times and people get upset, but at the end of the day, I'm very thankful to everybody, you know. So like the journey and the community have been what I'm thankful for this year, you know. And we have Lee. I want to see what Dragus says. I'm gonna ask him next time. He's thankful for but he's thankful, you know, Lee's thankful for the insights and guidance. So yeah, you know, we're thankful. We're thankful to have you here, man. You know, I mean, like for sure. You know, it's like we do it because we enjoy it. First of all, we learn from each other, and I think we've made money with each other's, you know, sort of theories and analysis and all that stuff. and we just put a camera in front, right? So we will continue to do this. We're enjoying ourselves, Don't forget, every Thursday, we're planning to go live to try to share whatever we're seeing in the markets and try to give you as much as possible in the good times and in the bad times. So
it's not easy. It's not easy, and that's part of the challenge as well. It's just, in the past on market crash, like all you want to do is hide, and now not only do you have to always be there for your copies, but then putting your face on camera and going live and knowing that potentially there could be trolls that are coming on and watching, laughing, or it really tests your strength and your character. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this.
No, it's good, and it's like also like, it's like it's easy to kind of like kick somebody when they're down, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, hey, we're all trying to be here to kind of like we're all trying to stay, like we're all trying to be investors. We're all trying to put our money to work and kind of like create some new things with new technologies. And this way has allowed for that to happen to like stock market and different projects and different cryptocurrencies even, right? It's like, it's just technology that has allows for us to partake in that. So don't get discouraged if the market shit on you, right? Like it's part of the learning process, as I like to call it, tuition money. We're willing to spend thousands and thousands and thousands in education, but the moment that my stock goes down 1%, I'm like, excuse me? It's like, well, it will happen. Like if I had it all right, I wouldn't be doing this, and I will be owner of the world in Mars. It's like, but none of us are there. So it's, we're all just trying our best to kind of figure this out. So thank you guys. Thank you, the community. I want to hear what Timothy had to say. That's one thing. So next episode, I'm going to make sure he does it.
Yeah, make sure you ask him at the beginning of the episode.
For sure.
Let me say one more thing. Not related to the being thankful about, but it's going to be about AI. So yesterday I went for a cup of coffee with a guy, another popular investor from Cyprus, Harlambos, and he's speaking to geopolitics. And of course we went there and drinking coffee and talking about AI. And then he said something very obvious, but it did not click until yesterday, that the AI race is not between companies, it's between countries. It's not between companies, it's between countries. So imagine being an investor in the military-industrial complex during World War II, when the government was willing to give a blank check to anyone that can help us, that can give us an edge. So the dot-com bubble, the Chinese didn't have internet at the time. It was just the Americans getting the internet mainstream. But now the Chinese are in the race. And make no mistake, they're going to write the checks they have to write for their players to be competitive. So do you think the Americans are just going to let that? Because it's national security.
It is.
And for national security, they're going to write a blank check to NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, like you name it. So long-term bullish case, it's right there. In the meantime, we're going to have some dips and some corrections and all that. But if you are joining today and you're thinking that the AI story doesn't have legs, long term, no. The case is this race is between countries. It's not between companies. The little race within the race are the companies fighting between them, who is going to get a bigger chunk of money from the government.
Yeah.
But this race is between countries, and until we have a winner, and I don't know that we're going to have a winner.
I don't think we ever do. I think this just continues, right?
Yes, I think it just continues, and we try to keep up with each other. And as investors, it's a perfect place to be and to be invested. Don't go crazy with the speculative. Like, try to create a portfolio to be balanced across the AI spectrum, whatever that you think is, and you're gonna do well.
Yeah. By the way, this last message from Graham here. It's like, one of the things I'm thankful was finding market bus for the snippets of useful knowledge. It has certainly helped increase small amounts. Yeah. No, man, it's what we're trying to do. It's like we're just having conversations that we are trying to get better, and at the same time, if anybody gets any value, we're more than happy to just share it, because it's like I'm also looking for people to come in and be like, you're wrong. And it's like, okay, tell me why. You know, because it's like, if I'm wrong, I want to know. You know, I'm not in the business of like, look at my ego, I'm always right. No. Tell me why I'm wrong. Like, debate me, fight me. You know, it's like, I need to know. Because otherwise my money gets hurt. But yeah,
it's important. It's important to challenge each other. Like Timothy and I don't always agree when it comes to crypto, and it's good. You know, it's really healthy. I'm just like, why? He's like, I'm bearish. I'm like, I'm bullish. I'm like, tell me why. So it's been really great to be, and we actually have these conversations offline where people don't really know, and so we're like, we need to bring this online because this is all we do. We just talk about investing and markets like all day long.
Yeah. Like this is, you know, Mimi made the joke that it's like, oh, let's jump before to kind of talk a little bit about the markets. Like, it's like, no, just kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm like, this is my life. I spend all my time looking at this. Yeah. Sorry, Dimitri, I cut you off.
No, I saw the message and Mimi said, you know what? I'm ready to go now. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean,
yeah, I'm ready. Man.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I'm always looking at markets. That's my job. You know, it's like, but my girlfriend the other day was like, man, even in the car, like you're driving and you're talking about this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, there's a little bit of processing power there.
At least you have a girlfriend. I think I'm undateable now because I'm just that guy in the video is like, when the market goes up and you buy, you sell. It's just like that's all I care about.
Yeah, it's difficult like that the people that you interact on a daily basis don't get you.
Yeah.
Because we see the world through the eyes of an investor.
Yeah.
The rest of the people, they see the world through the eyes of a consumer.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's funny because like sometimes when the market is crashing, you're like, you have no idea. Your job is in jeopardy. And you're looking at people just walking around being like so happy. And I'm like, you have no idea what's happening in the grand scheme of things. And then you're going to like, you know, that Cassandra sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, when the market is crashing and you're looking for cash and you're upset with yourself that you don't have enough cash, that's a good sign that you are like in a different point. But if you're panicking when the market is going down, then you have some more steps to go through to become like a seasoned investor.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think this is it. We have a little comment, Mr. Mosi. Thanks so much. We really appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. We just touched 520 subscribers. I'm like super happy. It's been a year.
Nice.
You know,
last week was 505.
Yeah, we're popping those numbers. Market bus to the moon, baby.
Yeah. It's a percentage. Every week it's a percentage. I think it's 2 or 3% of increase every episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take long for the compound effect to kick in.
Yeah.
Get ready. Yeah. So it's the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
To bigger and better things, always. All right. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, don't forget to put them in the comments. We're more than happy to answer. Sorry for the people that I didn't answer before, or we didn't answer before because I didn't know people were leaving comments until I checked, and I was like, oh, there's actually a lot of comments. And so yes, we're keeping up with that now. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.